Hey everyone, so you might have heard the news that we will not be having free models on AI Studio and it will be changed to API based pricing. So what next? What next platform do we have to use? I was thinking about this and surprisingly, Manus AI has actually introduced a Manus chat mode that is free and unlimited to all. That is so nice to see. But the question is, there are already many free and unlimited options. You have DeepSeek, Quen, Mistral, and all of that. So today we'll be reviewing this unlimited chat mode on Manus and we'll be comparing nearly 12 AI models to see how Manus stacks up to that. And we'll try to understand what could be the underlying model, that has been given for free. We'll be also looking at what is good with this chat mode, what is bad with it, and everything. So without further ado, let's get started. So I'll not waste your time, we'll directly get into the comparison. So here you can see there are 12 AI models. You can have a look at all of them and you can see these are all my questions and the scores, how much they have scored out of 10. So each question was sent 10 times to the models and out of it, how many times it got it right. I've recorded that and came up with this table. If you are enjoying this video, please do hit the like button because coming up with tables like this does take a lot of tokens. So I will be also introducing you to the questions. Here you can see I'm on my website. If I go to problem collections, all my questions are available over here. So starting off with the water tank question, this is the one. You can pause and have a look. Also the right answer is also mentioned. If you look at this particular question, you can see some of the models who have scored 10 out of 10 are GPT 4.1, Claude 3.7 Sonnet, and Gemini 2.5 Flash New. So Gemini 2.5 Flash is the thinking model. I'll tell you why I have included that, but leaving this, all other models are the non-thinking variants. So talking about the non-thinking variants, you have GPT 4.1 and Claude 3.7 Sonnet who have scored 10 out of 10. What about Manus? Even Manus, the chat mode, whatever model is behind this, has also scored 10 out of 10. Absolutely amazing. Next up is the letters question. Let me show you the question. This is the one. You can pause and have a look. So talking about this question, you can see again, if we ignore the thinking variant of Gemini 2.5 Flash and look at the pre-trained models, the highest in this particular question and are Gemini 2.5 Flash, the new variant, and DeepSeek version 3.1, that is DeepSeek V30324. Both have scored 8 out of 10. What about Manus? The underlying model behind Manus has scored a 6 out of 10. So far it is looking like a pretty good model. Now let's move on to connect the dots question. Let me show you the question. You can see this is the question. You have to connect the dots and find the underlying word. So well, in this particular question you can see the only model that has scored a 10 out of 10 is Claude 3.7 Sonnet. So I do also have Claude 4 Sonnet over here and this is the model that is behind the Claude chat interface. For some weird reason it is actually not performing good and is kind of behind Claude 3.7 Sonnet. The Claude 3.7 Sonnet that I'm using here is the API version and the Claude 4 Sonnet used here is the chat version. Maybe the system instructions that they are using is causing some issues, but most probably people will be using the chat interface. Anyways, keeping that aside, as I said, Claude 3.7 Sonnet is the only model that has scored a 10 out of 10, surprisingly followed by GPT 4.1 mini. Now let's look at what Manus has come up with. Manus has scored an 8 out of 10 and you can see I've written incompleteness. The reason being that, in this particular question, the model was actually not giving me the complete response. It was getting stuck in the middle. And the two times it couldn't get the answer right, actually, it didn't give a wrong answer. But it was not able to complete its response, and that's the reason, to be fair, I gave it a fail. Maybe giving it two more chances, it could have scored a 10 out of 10. But I had to be fair, so due to incompleteness, it scored an 8 out of 10. So far, you can see this model is actually performing pretty good. Let's move on to the grids question. And you can see the questions are slowly and gradually becoming harder and harder. So this is the particular question. I've also given the answers. If you look at the scores, you can see the highest that any model has scored is from GPT 4.1, scoring a 9 out of 10, and also Quen 3 235B A22B, the non-thinking variant. Even that model scored a 9 out of 10. That is nice to see. What about Manus? Let's have a look. Even it scored a 9 out of 10. In this particular question, even Manus was one of the highest. So now without wasting any time, let's get into the final question. So this is the seating arrangement question, an absolutely hard question. It is so hard that only two models have been able to get this right up until this point. That is Gemini 2.5 Pro Thinking and OpenAI O3. Both are thinking models. So rightfully you can see that all the models have scored 0 because these are non-thinking variants and even the Gemini 2.5 Flash thinking model has got a 0. But for some weird reason, guys, Manus got a 1 out of 10. It got it right. I don't know how. You can see the video. I've actually recorded it because I couldn't believe it. And also, it didn't take too much time. I don't know how, if it has memorized or something. It has got it right. I've also ensured that it is not using the internet, because if it uses the internet, it will mention sources. But that is not the case. For some weird reason, it was able to get it right. And I had to give 1 out of 10. You can look at the total scores over here. The models are actually arranged in a decreasing order of rank, and you can see Manus is in second place because it has scored 34 out of 50, the highest among the non-thinking models. What I was trying to do is, understand what is the underlying model behind Manus. And that is the reason I didn't include Claude 4 Opus, because it is obvious Claude 4 Opus will not be included in the unlimited free tier that Manus is giving. That will be pretty much insane. So excluding that and GPT 4.5 and other very highly priced models, you can see out of all of these, Manus is absolutely nailing this. I don't know if the underlying model is a thinking model or not. We'll be talking about that later. But if you talk about reasoning, yeah, you can use Manus. This is going to be absolutely awesome to use, especially in the reasoning sections. You can see all the questions are kind of different in their own form. And even though Manus was able to score 34 out of 50. Now let's move on to the max section. So here you can see I have actually asked only 3 questions in the max section, whereas I actually have 4 questions, but I couldn't ask the first question. The reason is Manus was simply not giving me the response. It was getting stuck in the middle, and this is something that I've seen multiple times in Manus chat interface. Many a times it actually gets stuck in middle and doesn't complete the response. Anyways, if I go on to my website and go on to max problems, you can see the questions are mentioned. So the first question is this one that was not working with Manus. If it works for you, do tell me. Talking about the second question, that is the earnings problem, you can have a look. So in this particular question, you can see all these models have performed incredibly bad, with the highest being DeepSeek Pro V2, which is mostly aligned towards max, and it scores a 4 out of 10. It is below 5. What about Manus? You'll be shocked to see the underlying model behind Manus scores an 8 out of 10. Can you even imagine? 8 out of 10. These other models are nowhere near to that. Talking about the next question, that is shaded circle. So this is the question you can see. Originally, even OpenAI, O1 Mini and reasoning models like that were not able to get this right. But have a look at this. Now many models are actually getting it right. And the models that have scored 10 out of 10 are Gemini 2.5 Flash, the old one, the newer one, DeepSeek Pro V2, DeepSeek version 3.1, GPT 4.1 Mini, and surprisingly, even Llama 4 Maverick. So, what about Manus? Even Manus scores a 10 out of 10. Absolutely insane. Now, without wasting time, let's get into the final question. That is the hard geometry question. You can have a look at the question. So, let's look at the scores. As you can see, it is kind of hard and the models are not performing very good compared to the previous question where they were getting 10 out of 10. Here you can see the highest being Claude 4 Sonnet, scoring a 9 out of 10. What about Manus? Manus scores 9 out of 10 again. Absolutely insane. Even in this question, it scores the highest. In all 3 questions, it actually scores the highest, guys. So, the total comes out to be 27 out of 30, 6 points higher than this previous best, that is the older Gemini 2.5 Flash. So you saw whether it's reasoning or max, it absolutely nailed it. So we'll be getting back to the scores and trying to understand what is the underlying model in Manus. But for now, let's actually do one thing. Let's test it against coding, how it performs in coding. We'll be trying our coding questions on this model. So let me head over to coding problems, and here we have all the questions. Let's start off with something simple. Let's ask it code a snake game in Python using PyQt. So I'll copy the prompt. You can see if you hit the copy button, the prompt gets copied. So let's move on to Manus and let's share this. So you can see there are actually 3 modes that are available now. The first one is chat mode. You can see it says get fast answers for everyday questions or talk it through before starting a task. So this is the chat interface that we are talking about. The other one is the agent mode, and all of you guys will be familiar with it. This was the default mode in Manus, getting the task done, doing agentic stuff and everything. And the new mode is adaptive. So it automatically understands whether you are actually asking it to do a task or you are just chatting. So let's do one thing. We'll keep it at adaptive and send this prompt. We'll see if it actually goes into agentic mode or just stays in the chat mode. I want it to stay in the chat mode because I just want the code. But now you can see I think it has gone into agentic task. It is thinking. This means that it is starting to work. You can see the Manus is working, setup development environment and install dependencies and everything. So this is not what we want. So what we'll do is we'll open up a new task, and this time I'll forcefully set it as chat. So it gives us the response just in chat interface. Meanwhile, guys, just to start the interface and everything, 10 credits were used. Anyways, Today we are actually checking the chat interface because it's free and unlimited. So let's send this, and most probably it should give us the response in the chat interface. Now you can see it is giving us the response. Let's see what it comes up with. Okay everyone, we have got the responses. Let's copy the code. Let's paste that, and immediately we don't see any kind of errors. Let's run this, and okay, it does work guys. You can see I'm able to take these scores and it's game over. Let me try it once again. We'll have to see if the collisions work. So if I collide, it's a game over. So that is a working code. That is nice to see. Let's look at the next question that we have. Code a dragon in HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Show a side view of the dragon and create your best implementation in a single code. Let's see. So whenever you are asking for a code and you want just the chat interface, please make sure to have the chat mode enabled. If you set it at auto, it is automatically go into the agentic mode, and you can see I have accidentally actually got into agentic mode. I've used some credits. So you have to take care of that. Let's see what it comes up with. Okay everyone, we've got the response and it looks like a pretty long code. Let's see what it has come up with. We'll copy it, open up HTML viewer and paste that. Let's preview it in a new page. Okay, it does barely look like a dragon. We have the eyes, ons. I think it's a beak. We have the neck as well. I think this is the neck. And we have just one leg and a tail that is wiggling. We also have the wings. So I mean, it's not completely bad, but it's kind of okay. Let's do one thing. Let's actually take a screenshot and share with it. So I've sent the image and I've said it looks barely like a dragon. Have a look for yourself. Identify what is missing in its body parts and what is wrong or distorted, and fix it and give me the best implementation you can give. Let's see how it improves that. So now we have another issue that I wanted to share with you. You can see it has identified the issues and it is giving us the code. That is nice to see. But it got stuck in the middle and we don't have a retry button. So what we are forced to do is just ask it to, give complete code. You got stuck in the middle. So I think these are very minor issues, and most probably these will be improved and they will come up with a retry button. These are kind of basic things, and they are just starting with this chat interface. Okay, this time around we have got the complete code. Let's copy it. Let's open up HTML viewer and paste that. Okay, so nothing much has improved guys. I think it looks pretty much the same. I don't know what it understood and what it fixed. That is it guys. Let's move on to the next question. So the next question is Super Mario. Generating a complete Super Mario game in a web page. So let's send this and we'll ensure to have chat interface. Let's send this question. Okay everyone, we have got the response, and the interesting thing is it says that generating a full-fledged Super Mario game in a single code block is kind of extremely complex task, and it is beyond what can be done in a single code block. So what it is giving us is a simpler version of it. Anyways, let's try it. Let's open up HTML viewer. Let's paste that, and okay, this is what we have. Let's try to encourage it. We'll say that. So what I'm saying is I've tried many LLMs and they have actually been able to give a pretty impressive Mario game, even if it's one level that looks substantially good. The code was long, but I never said code length was a constraint. So please give me your best. Let's see. So now you can see again it has actually tried to give us a very long code, but it got stuck in the middle. So now we'll have to actually ask it to give us the complete code. I have actually tried multiple times and it was not able to give me a complete code. Let's move on to the next question. So the next question that we have is falling letters animation. Let's copy it. Let's paste that, enable the chat mode, and let's send it. So okay, so I asked it to give the falling letters animation, and it has given me separate files, HTML, JavaScript and everything. So in a code environment, this is the right thing to do, but we want a single code so that it becomes easy for us to test it. Let's see. Okay, we have got the complete code. Time to test. Let's open up HTML viewer. Let's paste that. Okay, we do have the ball, but we don't see any kind of letters falling. Let's mention this to Manus. So now you can see it has again given me an incomplete code, but that is something new. It has actually suggested a new knowledge. Let's see what the new knowledge is. So it has actually suggested something related to coding. I think this is most likely to not get into the error of having these letters. That is nice to see. We'll accept this knowledge, and if it actually causes some issues, we'll get it removed. But the real fact is the code is not complete, so we'll ask it to give us the complete code. Okay, so this time around it actually gave us the complete code. Finally, let's try it out. Let's see if actually things have improved. Let's paste that, and okay, we don't see any kind of improvement. Usually we don't give this many chances to any models in our coding test, so that is actually a fail guys. Let's move on to the next question. So the next question is write a Python code for a hollow circle with an opening. There are two balls inside it, and whenever a ball exits, two new balls appear. So this is a Python problem. Let's see. Okay, we have got the code, so let's copy it. Let's paste that, and immediately no errors and no warnings as well. Nice. Let's run it, and wow, we have got exactly what we want guys. We have clearly one opening, and you can see When a ball exits, actually two new balls appear. This is exactly what I wanted. Many models actually don't get this right, guys. I have to say that. But you can see actually some time has actually passed, and even after balls appear, balls are escaping the circle and two new balls are appearing. So gradually it should be filled, but that is not happening. Maybe in some cases when the ball is actually exiting, no new ball is getting generated. So the core logic is not correct, but the looks are nice. Anyways, that is what we got. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, so I do have harder questions, but I think asking that questions to this particular model is kind of pointless because we have seen the performance is not very good. So we'll directly move on to the final question, that is creating a solar system website, that has scrolling animations just like Apple's website. So I've pasted the whole prompt. Let's see. Don't get me wrong, guys. If you're using the agent mode, the performance will be significantly better. But the point is here we are not testing the agent mode, which is quite limited, and you just get 300 credits per day. But we are actually testing the free interface that we have. Okay, so this time instead of saying that it is not able to do that, it has actually given us the code. That is nice to see. And I think the code is kind of small. I don't expect too much from it. Anyways, let's open up HTML viewer and paste that. Okay, that does look promising though. Journey through the solar system. Let's scroll. Wow, that is awesome, guys. Actually, you can see the sun is kind of spinning. This is the sun. Okay, it was not able to fetch the Mercury and even Venus. Okay, now Earth has come. It is spinning. This is Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. It is actually kind of a good response, guys. The code was very small, and even in that, it was able to give us a very good response, actually. So, with this, I think we can end the coding section. It was kind of a mixed bag. I think the fact is, it is able to give us very good responses. But the point it is just not trying. You have seen in many questions, it was kind of saying that it is a very hard task and I'm not able to do that. A behavior that we saw in previous models. There is one more thing to say. If you actually hover over this chat mode, you can see it says get fast answers for everyday questions. So it means that it is very good at everyday questions so let's actually do that. Let's ask it some everyday questions. The reason I'm doing this is because I tried a particular question with this model and I want to share you the results. So you can see I was recently just reading about blue whales and everything. The question that I asked is blue whale the largest animal yet on planet Earth? We'll try that again. Actually, this time what we'll do is we'll start a new task, and this time we'll set it at adaptive mode. And since this is a simple question, it should, I think, go into the chat mode. And you can see rightly it actually goes into the chat mode. When I ask the question, is blue whale the largest animal on planet Earth? It says yes, the blue whale is the largest animal on Earth, and giving us some more information. But let me actually ask a follow-up question. So I don't know if I'm correct or wrong, but if I ask you this question, if I ask you this particular question, is blue whale the largest animal on planet Earth? And after that, if I ask this particular question, what is the largest one that has ever been in existence? What will you think? Will you think I am asking about the largest animal that has ever been in existence? Because you have already answered me that, and I know that. So, according to me, what I'm likely asking is, what is the largest blue whale that has ever been in existence? And this is same with you guys as well. After this particular question, if I ask this follow-up question, even you might think that I am asking about the largest blue whale that has ever been in existence. Let me ask this follow-up question and let's see what Manus understands. So now you can see it doesn't actually understand me. It again says that blue whale is considered the largest animal known to have ever existed. What I'm trying to ask is which is the largest blue whale that has ever been in existence. Maybe the correct sentence would be what is the largest one that has ever been recorded. But it is not that every time we ask exact pitch perfect questions. Sometimes the wordings are a bit messed up, and I do feel that the models actually kind of understand that, and based on the overall conversation come up with a response. Anyways, why I tried to show you this is, let me actually go on to Claude for Opus. I'll open up Open Router and we'll use Claude for Opus and we'll ask the same particular questions that we asked. So first question is blue whale the largest animal yet on planet Earth? And you can see it gave us the information. Yes, the blue whale is the largest animal, and it gave us bit more information. Now let's hit it with the follow-up question. What is the largest one that has ever been in existence? Let's see if it's actually able to understand us. And interestingly, you can see this time around Claude for Opus actually understood us. It says the largest blue whale ever reliably recorded was a female caught by whalers in the Antarctic in 1947. So Claude for Opus understood us. That is the reason on my website, if you go on to, model recommendations, the best conversation model is mentioned to be Claude for Opus. Many models will not get this right, guys. I'm saying the reasoning models kind of get it right because, they overthink about it and try to give you everything. But when it comes to non-thinking models, such kind of a behavior and understanding is kind of rare. But I want to show you one more thing. If I head over to ChatGPT website, I'm on the free tier now, and we'll ask the same question: Is blue whale the largest animal yet on planet Earth? Let's ask this, and you can see we get an instant response that yes, the blue whale is the largest animal. Now let's do one thing. Let's give it the follow-up question. What is the largest one that has ever been in existence? Let's see if even ChatGPT gets it right. And you can see it actually gets it. It says the largest blue whale ever recorded was about 98 feet, 29.9 meters long. But I do think that information is actually not right. Let's actually enable the search the web function and ask it again. I'm just asking, are you sure that's the longest? So now you can see it actually mentions the longest confirmed blue whale is 33.57 meter. Even you can see Claude for Opus has mentioned this as 33.57. So ChatGPT kind of got confused between longest and largest. There could be some discrepancies that I am not aware of, but you saw actually ChatGPT understood our question, which is the main goal over here. If you try out GPT 4.0 and GPT 4.5 and any other model, it will not understand you guys, but I think they have a fine-tuned version of ChatGPT that is, more focused on understanding daily questions. You know that every now and then they do A/B testings and come up with updates that are controversial. I hope you are aware of that. So let's get back to Manus. So this is what I want to kind of highlight, that this is one of the downsides, that the underlying model, whatever it is behind Manus, it is not very good in understanding. It is good, guys, don't get me wrong, but it is not the top of line when it comes to understanding. But there is one plus point as well. Let me show you that. If I head over to chatgpt.com and I ask what is the latest model from OpenAI that has just been released. So if I ask this question without enabling the search the web function, you can see it says the latest model that has been released is GPT 4. You always don't have that intuition to, enable the search the web function. And many people are even not aware of that. It should actually identify the keywords like just been released, latest, and keywords like this, and should go and search the web. Now let's actually try this same particular question with Manus, and will not do anything in it. It is in its default adaptive mode, and we'll send this question. Let's see what Manus does. So now you can see it has actually searched the web all by itself. We didn't ask it to search the web. It looked for all these sources, and it says that the latest models that were released was OpenAI O3 and O4 mini, and especially this particular information: OpenAI O3 Pro, GPT Image 1, GPT 4.1 models. It absolutely got this right. So this is a very big blunder on ChatGPT interface. Previously it had this option, it automatically searched the web, but maybe they were not able to align it properly, or it is not available in the free option or something like that. But this is something that I wanted to share. And in this particular case, Manus is actually better at, identifying when to search the web and everything. Let's get into the main question that we started all of this with. And that is, what could be the underlying model? So if you look at these scores, you can see that all these models that are from various providers are not even close to what Manus has able to do. It has scored 34 out of 50 in reasoning and 21 out of 30 in max. Absolutely stunning performance. So to actually understand what could be the underlying model, what I did is I just directly asked Manus which model you are. Directly, it will say that I am Manus, an autonomous general AI agent. But some users have actually reported this. You can see it says I am a large language model trained by Google, and actually, just few days before when I was trying, it used to say the same. But I think they have actually seen these posts, and these are actually direct comments on their post of, this post of enabling unlimited chat. So it is a comment directly on their post, so they might have seen this and actually fixed it. You can see more users are mentioning this: I am a large language model trained by Google. So we don't know, it could be that. But if you look at the scores, my best bet is, I think it might be Gemini 2.5 flash thinking variant. I think, because in some particular questions, it actually takes some time. When I was testing these reasoning questions, it was taking some time. And also in some questions, you can see here I've asked the question, and without responding anything, it directly gave sentence, and it was actually correct response. So it must have, given us something. It is a hard question, and getting it right without doing anything is kind of difficult. So it could be that it has actually thought about it and then gave us the response. Okay, now you can see I've actually got the message that I asked it. I asked what is your knowledge cutoff. There is message above this, you can see it says, as a large language model trained by Google, I don't have a single fixed knowledge cutoff date in the same way some other AI models do. So, these kind of messages was kind of seen in previous Gemini models. Now they don't do that. They clearly mention their knowledge cutoff, which might be true or false. But okay, now I've got the message. You can see which model are you truly. It says I'm a large language model trained by Google. So you can see this. Glad that I've actually showed the screenshots. So, given all of these points, I do think that this is Gemini 2.5 Flash new, the thinking variant. I could be wrong, given its very good performance in Max, especially in the earnings problem, it scores an 8 out of 10. And in my seating arrangement question, it gets a 1 out of 10. That is, I don't know how it does. The only two models that I know are able to do this is Gemini 2.5 Pro and OpenAI O3. So I do think that it's Gemini 2.5 Flash thinking variant with less thinking budget. Or it could be the Quen model, but this is what it is. You saw that this model is very good in reasoning and max, and if you just compare it to non-thinking models, it is absolutely the best. But when it comes to coding, we saw that it was a mixed bag, and the conclusion that we came to is the model is kind of capable, at least that is what seems to be, but the problem is the model doesn't want to try. Particularly in the Super Mario question, you saw that it simply said that giving a complete code is kind of difficult. This is something we saw in previous AI models. The current models are not doing that. Instead, they are pushing and trying to give their best in coding, because that is clearly a domain where they are performing very good. Other than that, guys, I think for daily tasks, Manus is actually not bad, and you can use it absolutely for free. Actually doesn't understand something, you can explain it and it will understand that. Currently we do have Gemini 2.5 Pro absolutely for free and unlimited, but if things change, you can try Manus, or if there is anything else that you think is completely free and unlimited and is a very good model, please share that with me so that I can test it and I'll actually let you know how good the underlying model is. So I hope I was able to give you a complete idea of the underlying model behind the unlimited chat interface, talking about the positive and the negatives. If you liked the effort, please do hit the like button. It might sound insignificant for you, but it really, really helps me a lot. Thank you for that. With that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one.